Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, here with my tag team partner, The Boy. And we bring you a rollicking, high-energy edition of the Two Nerds podcast talking about WWE Money in the Bank. Before we get to the pay-per-view, I want to remind you, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Get the word out there that we're cool. Then we can be cool to everyone. Also, super double, triple special thank you to Super Blizzard for his Shining Rosado track, Let's Get Hardcore. That's our theme music. He's also working on a game called Puppet Kingdom. I hear there's a playable demo coming out soon. If you hit up his Twitter, you can, take a look at that as soon as it comes out. Also, he and I believe his roommate are doing a fundraiser to get them some better housing. In order to make, putting out music and making this game happen a little faster. And as a special double thank you to them, first link, as usually my books in the description. Today, for this podcast, it's going to be a link to that fundraiser for them. So hopefully we can get some money their way. I know it's not much of a signal boost, but we love these guys and we feel like they deserve it.
Most definitely.
So, best pay-per-view of the year, right?
Well, barring the main event, I would say that that's not entirely inaccurate.
No, I think WrestleMania was better.
Yeah, but WrestleMania had that one. You know what? Both of the best pay-per-views of this year have had one incredibly indelible black mark against them. With WrestleMania, it was that fucking Brock Lesnar match. And with this, it was the fucking main event. But we're not there yet, listener. We should start in order. Quite unlike the motherfucking WWE Network.
More on that toward the end of the show, I believe. But I had to work tonight, listener. Usually we watch live. So you, me, the boy, Ultimo Dragon, we're all sitting around watching the pay-per-view together. Then we record our thoughts and we get it uploaded for you first thing Monday morning so you can listen to it on your drive to work. However, the network, he was not cooperating. I had to work through the pay-per-view. I didn't get home till 11. I was trying to start us out on the Layla Summer Rae match, which was right before the main event. And
it defied all of our many, many attempts to get it to show us the beginning of the pay-per-view. The farthest we actually could get back was, I believe, Adam Rose versus Damien Sandow.
Which looked like an opener.
Yeah, that looked like an opener.
So we were like, okay, this must be the opener.
Turns out the Tag Team Championship match and the Divas Championship match got bumped down the card below Adam Rose versus Damien Sandow for some god-awful reason. And we didn't see those matches. We know what the results are thanks to King and Cole and JBL.
Well, we caught the tail end of the Divas Championship.
We caught the Paige doing her victory pose.
Yeah.
And Paige won the Divas Championship match. That's a fine decision. Usos won the Tag Team Championship match. That's a fucking stupid decision. Just a fucking stupid decision.
There are places where that's a fine decision. If some of the other results of this pay-per-view had gone differently, that's a fine decision. But as it stands, I don't know.
It's a fucking stupid decision.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know if I'd go as far as fucking stupid.
No, because for the build the Wyatt family that Harper and Rowan had, winning here was kind of necessary. The Usos can win it back fucking Monday night for all I care, but they needed to win here.
Maybe. I've been... let me give you some history here. If you follow our podcast regularly, you know this, but I recognize some of you don't. You only tune in at pay-per-view time. I have not been into WWE this past month at all.
Whereas I have. It's actually been a month I've been having a real good time with.
There's one or two things I was interested in, but basically when Seth Rollins did the whole heel turn thing, I checked out. They finally stripped Daniel Bryan of the title, and that was good. That was at the last pay-per-view, wasn't it?
Maybe. No, it wasn't the last pay-per-view. It was like 2 weeks into this cycle.
Was it?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's been a slog. Really, the only thing I enjoyed in terms of storyline progression was was the culmination of the whole Cody Rhodes sucks angle.
Yeah, that was glorious.
That's it. I mean, I have not... And I support Adam Rose.
Oh, Rusev is pretty great.
Yeah, Rusev. I support Adam Rose and Rusev.
You like the undercard.
I really like the undercard. I mean, this is feeling like early 2000s WWE to me.
Undercard's great. Uppercard's all John Cena and Triple H.
Well, and I mean, back then, I barely stayed around for the main event, if that much. And this was before you and I started hanging out.
Just, son of a bitch, dude. I have to keep this in mind, because I can get to my bitching when we get to the thing I need to be bitching about. Most of this pay-per-view, that we saw at least, I can't speak to the Tag Team Tyler Diva side.
Oh, I'm sure it was good.
But most of this pay-per-view was actually surprisingly very entertaining. And sometimes not so surprisingly entertaining. The first match we caught was, like we mentioned, Adam Rose versus Paul Revere tonight, Damien Sandow.
I don't get this gimmick.
They're burying him. I don't know why they're burying him, but this is a
gimmick. He's not over. Look, okay, it worked when they're taking promo time away from the undercard. That's how you establish your fucking undercard. People wonder why they've had the same 5 dudes sitting at the top of the card for years. It's because they don't let the other guys get over. You give anybody a sliver, you give Fandango a good song, and people try to get him over.
The crowd wants to like these people, but you have to give them some time. Maybe devote, like, an hour less a night to wacky bodily fluid hijinks with Vicky Guerrero.
Or whatever main event thing. Well, that might have been an actual send-off for her, because I saw there was some sort of top 10...
Oh, no, she's gone.
Yeah. But she might be retired for real.
It's wrestling.
It is, but, maybe that's why they suddenly, out of nowhere, brought Vicky Guerrero back.
To give her a proper send-off instead of the fading away she did last time. I mean, that might be true, but, like, just... that's one example of, like,
but yeah, okay, yeah, I mean...
Devote an hour... You have 3 fucking hours. Give an hour of it to the undercard, and everyone's happy. Maybe do one less video package about John Cena, or Randy Orton, or Daniel Bryan, or, for the love of God, even Roman Reigns. Just fucking give someone who's in the undercard, because Roman Reigns is a main eventer now. It's pretty established.
Yeah, and good for him. I mean...
but give someone in the undercard a little room to breathe, because these guys want to be over. For fuck's sake, there's We the People chants going on, and it's not all racists, okay? These people just want to like someone new. Everyone is fucking tired. Even me is fucking tired of seeing John goddamned Cena.
I mean, but yeah, Damien Sandow, back when he was doing promos, he was over. Back when he would, before the match, he would be like, if I could beg a moment of your indulgence, and he talked about what unwashed, dirty rednecks everybody was. People hated that, as they're supposed to.
They booed. He was over.
Yeah, he was just fine. He was an undercarder. He was mid-card, maybe, but he was over, and then he and Cody Rhodes' mustache made a tag team, and that went well.
Yeah, they had shirts. People chanted for Cody Rhodes' mustache.
It didn't last anywhere near long enough, to be honest with you.
No.
Their tag team run was violently short-lived.
And they had good chemistry, too. I don't get it. But it led us to... All of that led us to Stardust, so I think it's okay.
Yeah. And the match, Adam Rose, Damien Sandow, it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
Neither of these guys' best outing, but...
neither of their worst outings, I
know. Adam Rose won. Yeah. I like Adam Rose.
Adam Rose won, as was always going to happen. He's fun. His gimmick is fun. It's a little clown shoes, but I don't give a shit. It's really fun, and it's good to have something happy going on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, I like him a lot.
I like that he found Christian's old crazy-ass sunglasses.
There's not really much else to say about that match. It
was a thing. Then we had the Money in the Bank ladder match. The far superior fucking ladder match of the evening. That match was really fucking good. A+.
Yeah, I'd say A+. A 9 out of 10.
Yeah. The finish was the only part that was a problem, and not because of who won. But it was everyone was out there giving all of the percentages.
Yeah, everyone. Zeb included, Paul Heyman included. Or no, Paul Heyman was in the main event.
Yeah, no, Paul Heyman was in the main event.
But Zeb included. They were doing a good job. Just for the listener, that's Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Kofi Kingston, Dolph Ziggler, Rob Van Dam, and Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger, yeah. Bad News Barrett was supposed to be in it, but he got cut because he separated his shoulder. Unfortunate. I hope he's back soon. I really like Bad News Barrett. We live in Bizarro world. I like Wade Barrett, but it's true. I mean, I could go down the list and just say blank was great, but it would just be time wasting. Everyone was great.
Yeah,
in this match.
I mean, it was, and the spots were awesome.
Even Van Dam, who really hasn't been catching my interest this whole pay-per-view cycle. Since he's been back, he's just been fed. He's been a waste of my time. This was not a waste of my time. He might be older. He gasses out real quick, but you pointed out during the show, he's always giving 100%. He's always trying.
And as I said during the show, I mean, I don't hate John Cena. I don't hate the man John Cena, and I am usually entertained by the commentary guy, interview giver. I'm entertained by his mic work. But he doesn't. He's young. He has talent and ability.
He's not young. He's in his 30s.
Well, he's younger than Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, that's true. I think.
He is. He's in his prime.
He's in his prime. He's in his prime of his wrestling career.
He is talented. He has natural ability, and he's good on the mic. I mean, that should be the whole package right there. But when it comes to his matches, even pay-per-view matches, John Cena gives, at best, 85%.
The last match I saw him give 100% was The Rock. You didn't see that match.
I didn't watch that one.
His blow-off match with The Rock where he won. He was given 100%, and so was The Rock. Those guys just have no ring chemistry.
No,
They're awful.
zero.
They're awful together.
That's a quarter of the reason I didn't watch at WrestleMania.
But,
even before we had the network listener, we, as a family, watched WrestleMania. Some of you who are long-time listeners might remember our old WrestleMania live commentary. But I was part of Team CM Punk in that era, and I sat that one out. I was pretty pissed off. But yeah, I've heard, and from what I've seen, he did put out a lot of effort.
But that was how long ago? And that is literally the last time I've seen John Cena give 100%.
You know what's fucking funny? The last time I saw John Cena give 100% was against Rob Van Dam.
That is funny.
This was the second ECW One Night Stand, where If Cena Wins, We Riot was created.
Oh yeah, where they chanted, you can't wrestle, so he started doing like chain holds.
He started doing all kinds of new moves.
And they chanted same old shit because he was doing just chain holds and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he started busting out like hardcore moves and drop kicks and a bunch of the stuff that's in his rotation now, but we've never seen before. And they just started chanting, "You still suck."
Yeah, I mean, it was... And he tried, he won me over a lot in that match, because he gave a shit. But the rest, any other time, the dude doesn't give a shit.
I honestly think it's not that he doesn't give a shit, he doesn't have to, that's part of it. And it's also part of it that at this point, it's kind of a good idea for him not to give a shit. He's all they've got left. CM Punk quit, Daniel Bryan broke.
So you get some cream to rise.
That's silly. That would involve them building new talent. That's dumb. Why would they do that?
Yeah, right, exactly.
He's trying to maximize his career, and I'm not saying that's a good thing, but I'm saying it's understandable.
It's a safe thing.
Yeah, he's very safe.
We're talking about professional wrestling. And you know what? I despise Vince Russo. I think he's a fucking idiot.
Good job.
But at least he takes risks.
WWE is very safe anymore.
So fucking safe. How long did they test the waters for Daniel Bryan to actually win the titles? And then once he actually won the titles and they took it away from him within 5 minutes or whatever the fuck, how long did they tease us with it?
Yeah, they're very safe. They have to make sure something's a sure thing first. And which is weird because the network is a huge business risk and they took that readily enough.
I see that as something that Vince McMahon put his dick on.
Like, he just said, no, we're doing this?
Yeah, like he's been wanting to do this for years. You remember years ago when they were talking about Booker T would get a late-night talk show and...
Yeah. And, I mean, they tried it before with just the archive footage. WWE 24/7 it was called. It failed because they just had the archive footage.
Yeah, one, you couldn't control what was going on. It was just like a stream.
A stream. It was just a 24/7 feed of whatever that
was. Like, did you want to watch WCW? No? Sorry.
That's what's on.
Yeah.
But...
But
anyway, we're doing a disservice to this really very amazing.
Oh yeah, it was astounding. I mean, and that's what I was talking about. Rob Van Dam. I was trying to bridge it back, but we went more into Cena. Rob Van Dam gave his all, and you could tell. I got behind him, and there was a moment. There was a moment in this match where I marked out, and I was psyched because I thought Kofi Kingston might actually take it.
Oh, yeah, that was a great moment.
That was a beautiful spot, too.
He had his hands on the briefcase, and I so wanted Kofi to win this match. Or Ziggler. Those were my two favorites. I wanted either one of them to win because they both deserve it so much.
I would have been cool with Ambrose.
Ambrose would have been fine, too. And the one who won is fine. Honestly, by the end of this match, going into this match, I didn't want Rob Van Dam to win. He was the only one I didn't want to win. Anybody else would have been cool. By the end of this match, I was fine with whoever won, and that's a good match. When you can win me over, and you can make it so that I'm happy whoever wins, because the match I just saw was amazing, and all of these guys deserve it.
Well, there's the ironic thing, I mean, here's why you haven't been liking Rob Van Dam much. They haven't had him wrestle.
No, they hadn't been doing, 3-minute squash matches, either getting squashed or squashing somebody.
They've been back and forth. They haven't been that bad, but
it's not been entertaining because they've made him be safe.
Yeah, he's older. I mean, he's not.
He is older. He does get gassed out, and he got gassed out in this match. But he was also acting like a fucking crazy person who's from old school ECW, and so I loved it. Look, listener, I'm a simple man to please. You do some crazy bullshit that looks like you just took about 5 years off your life, I'm on your side now.
Yeah, I mean, just make it cool. It doesn't even have to look like... Okay, later down in the card, Rusev versus Big E. That was a safe fucking match. Nothing barely happened. But it looked fucking sick.
Because those guys were trying. But the ladder match was really good. There were a couple really great spots.
Oh, yeah. Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins on the ladders. With a little cross ladder.
Yeah. I think it was Kofi Kingston did a back body drop to Seth Rollins onto a suspended ladder.
And it's not even like, that doesn't do it justice, because the back body drop started as a back body drop, but then at the top of it, Seth just starts free falling. And for a second, you think he's going to take a header into the foot of the ladder. But no, he levels out and then splats against that thing.
And the ladder bounces up and hits the ropes again, and Seth hits the ladder again. And then it bounces up again, drops down, he drops down, langs his head on one of the rungs of the other ladder, and the first ladder clambers on top of him. It was awful looking in the best possible way. It was amazing. Yeah. And it was only one of 5 of those really fucking cool spots in that match.
Well, there was so much great selling. I mean, Jack Swagger, Dean Ambrose, both of them sold like champions.
Yeah, Kofi sold really well too. There was a couple moves that I think it was Jack Swagger threw Kofi around a couple times, and Kofi sold like one step below Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, just enough to be believable. And it was such a good match. It rightfully should have been the main event.
Yeah. Which I think makes more sense from a booking standpoint, because WWE is not going to be too risky in booking. You see, once the heel, the result of this match, Dean Ambrose came back from an injury. They pulled him from the match, beats crap out of everybody. He's on the top. He's going to get the titles. Kane shows up, fucks him up, and then helps Seth Rollins get the straps, or get the briefcase. Which was kind of a ending.
It was very underwhelming. It was very non-actiony for how actiony the match was. It was probably the match's only downside. It's why it gets a 9 instead of a 10. Yeah. I'd have rather Seth Rollins won clean, honestly.
Well, I mean, in my personal estimation, any match that doesn't have blood, fire, thumbtacks, or barbed wire is only...
Well, I mean, by that estimation, the
main event gets a 3.
Oh, come on.
It gets a 5. It was a
No,
solid
bullshit.
5.
We'll get there. I disagree with you on that.
In terms of Money in the Bank matches.
Oh,
Again, in terms of Money in the Bank matches, it's a solid 5.
Nah, even still. But
yeah, that was really the only failing it had.
otherwise, just A+.
But, yeah, once you see the heel wins and how the heel wins, you look at the main event, you go, they're going to have a face.
Faces go in the main event.
And then you look at the pool of faces in that match, alright? You've got John Cena, Sheamus. They're not going to give it to Sheamus.
Sheamus
He's
has
already
a
got
title.
the U.S. title.
And Reigns.
And Reigns. Reigns is a good choice. And Cesaro, maybe.
No, Cesaro's pretty solidly a heel.
They're booking him like a heel. The fans boo Paul Heyman and then cheer Cesaro as two separate entities.
Yes, they do. It's amazing.
But you're right. I mean, it's pretty much between John Cena and Roman Reigns.
So,
Like, you've got a 6-man ladder match between two guys.
Because in the end, with that kind of screw job, there's no way they're going to do another screw job. So a face is going to win that main event.
Oh, screw job or not, there's no way they're going to book for the next 3 months of...
Heel versus heel?
Yeah. WWE does not support heel versus heel feuds. Except for once in a blue moon.
And even then, it's only for a little while.
Yeah, that is not their bag.
But...
Even if they're super charismatic heels, they just don't fucking do it.
Well, I mean, for a pretty good reason.
Well, let's move on to the next match. Don't get me started on booking.
Goldust and Stardust versus Ryback and Curtis Axel. Solid match, and I love Stardust. I love Goldust and Stardust. This gimmick is amazing. Everything about it is amazing. It is pure joy, and it was a fun match to watch.
Yeah, this was WCW match. If there's anybody out there listening who is a big fan of WCW and kind of misses that vibe, this was your match.
It was a WCW style match.
Yeah,
it was.
And in the best way possible. I mean,
yeah, that's a compliment.
You had two goofy, I don't want to say luchadors, but I mean they had some high flying in their repertoire. Both of them now.
Two goofy, more technical guys versus two very serious, more brawly type power guys. It was Technicos versus Rudos. It was basic booking, but it was amazingly well done because the Rhodes family has a knack for acting fucking goofy.
And Ryback was astounding during this match. I mean, he not in terms of like wrestling acumen or anything. He was about
as good as always.
Yeah, which I think he's great anyway. So.
Yeah,
but no, I mean he managed to just by pumping his fist. Get the crowd to start chanting, "Feed me more" again.
And he's been a heel for months, a year plus at this point.
Oh, I follow him on Twitter.
And he started warming up the meat hook, and they were all, "Feed me," because they want, like I said, they want to like someone new.
Yeah.
And he stopped them, because he's a heel and he doesn't want them chanting for him. He stopped them by turning and laughing in their face and going, "That's right, say it." And then he started doing it again.
He calls them "feed me morons."
All of that's
great. It is great. Ryback's got great promos. I think they're a really great tag team. And Curtis Axel he doesn't have as much of a presence in the ring.
He's a good wrestler.
Yeah, he's talented.
You can tell who his dad is.
And he's got good mic work, but his presence is lacking. And once he snags that, I think he'll go far.
If he snags that.
Well, and maybe that's why they're stuck into Ryback. That much ego has got to rub off.
Ryan's not exactly a humble dude.
No, he's not. But I like him. I'm a big fan.
Not a huge amount to say on the match.
Goldust and Stardust went over. And that's good. That's a close to this gimmick.
Yeah, good, done.
I really liked the series they did there. Honestly, this was the thing I really cared about this past month.
He hasn't liked this month. I've liked basically this whole month, aside from the way they broke up the Shield. Not that they broke up the Shield. That had to be done. The way they did it pissed me off a lot. There's like a million better ways. I came up with a way that was still shitty, but better than what they came up with. But anyway, pretty much everything else this pay-per-view cycle, I've really liked. I've really liked what's going on here, and it's culminated in a pay-per-view that, all but for the last 2 minutes, I really was having a great time. I like this pay-per-view. It's a good pay-per-view.
Yeah,
on the whole, I'd give it a 7, maybe an 8.
Exactly, 7. Solid fucking 7.
But above average, and not at all bad. But the main event is still looming.
Let's not talk about that bullshit. We've got Rusev. And we've got...
the glorious Vladimir Putin.
We've got Big E.
Look, alright. Big E Langston, physical talent. Off the charts. He's a power wrestler. He's not technical very much, but he is good.
His chops.
As much as any wrestler. As much as any wrestler who's at the WWE level should.
Should.
Yeah, should. But he's a power wrestler, and he is good. Very good at what he does. He's boring as shit. For the most part. But first Rusev and Lana, the beautiful Lana, come out and do their shtick.
My favorite part was when she's like talking about glorious Vladimir Putin and points to the screen, and I swear Rusev like face front, like a true believer, and like Putin's coming on screen.
Not only that, he didn't just immediately turn to the screen
because he did
recognize Putin. Once Putin showed up, he bowed. He just bowed very simply at the waist and neck. He was like, "Yes, Putin."
Also, I've done something to myself just now that I don't know if I can undo. From now on, Vladimir Putin in my head is Stanley.
Face front, true believer. I wrestle bears.
I'm not going to do my Stanley impersonation.
No, mine's terrible. His is great.
Being an old man story that goes nowhere, and this podcast will be very different.
Mine's terrible. His is actually really good.
It's all in the speech patterns.
And I don't have those down.
And you have to make like quiet asides to comics personalities, but only by calling them by their first names, and then remembering the person you're talking to has no fucking clue who you're talking about, so you go back and go, for example, I was in a room with Jack, and we were playing Tiddlywinks, and Jack Kirby is who I was talking. I digress. Then Big E, and I'll let the boy handle this one.
Oh my god, it was amazing. I have been bored by Big E for the longest time. And
I was saying coming into this that he's just
bland.
Well, no, I had a specific. He's just Hacksaw Jim Duggan,
but not quite.
My cat's thrown up.
That's not a pleasant noise, but we live with it every day, so you can live with it for a little while.
It's like JonTron. JonTron's staying with us.
Yeah, there we go. It's much more believable. John Jafari, everyone, is our special guest. He's only doing his sound effects, though. Then he does his promo. It's one of the little cutaway promos, like straight out of the early 90s that they've been doing, where it's just a dude in a square and he's saying what he's saying, and instead of having his very calm, measured, educated voice, which Big E Langston has, he's a very, pretty intelligent guy, and he speaks very clearly, like me. He actually kind of sounds like me. We have voices in the same octave range, which is weird. But instead of that, he was, I swear to God, doing an Al Sharpton impression.
It was good.
Today, I do this for the USA. And it was amazing. And I never stop.
Yeah, I hope that's his new gimmick.
If by some amazing coincidence, Biggie, you are sitting with Ultimo Dragon tonight enjoying a cerveza, do me a favor. Never stop doing that Al Sharpton impression. It is the best thing you've ever done.
Oh, man.
Second best thing. Those spears are really cool. The match was a fight.
It was good. It was as good as their last 3 matches.
Yeah, it was a barn burner, and it was, as a man in a 10-gallon hat used to say, a slobber knocker, and it was fun to watch.
Oh man, these guys beat the fuck out of each other.
That's the call sign for this pay-per-view. The whole thing, even the main event, was fun to watch.
I was a little bored.
Yeah, well, you're an unpleasable douche sometimes. So am I sometimes, it's fair.
I like Rusev.
Rusev is great.
And Rusev won. He won by camel clutch. The accolade.
They almost let Big E break out of the camel clutch.
Oh, yeah, they teased it, and it was like...
No!
But no, he did it. Rusev crushed.
And they furled down a giant Russian flag.
Yeah, and gave him his medal. Yeah.
Russian hero medal.
Yeah.
It was a thing of beauty. Then we had Layla versus Summer Rae. Okay, quick question. 1. Why in the purple hell was this above the Divas title match?
Dude, and they had that video package and then an interview.
It was the longest fucking build for a nothing match on pay-per-view. It had a longer build-up than the main event.
I know we were just saying about give the undercard guys some talk time, but...
That presupposes that you're giving them talk time and something worthwhile to talk about.
Yeah. This whole milk thing.
What the fuck has this been? This breaking up via Twitter, the Layla
I thought
thing.
that was fine, and I thought that... But why is it still going on?
Why is it still going on, and why is it the match before the fucking main event?
Does Summer Rae want him back? If so, why? He broke up with you via Twitter.
And if not, why the fuck are you still involved
why do you
here?
care? Go be a guy on the bus. Wow, that was a joke no one's gonna get.
No, not at all.
We're talking early 90s Louis C.K. right there.
This is deep.
It's fucking Time War. Wild Stallions, man, I'm telling you.
But... fucking, alright, this is the first, we caught part of this match, we caught most of it, to be honest.
Yeah, we watched pretty much all of it.
But then when we got back around, because like I said, it started us with this match, and then we tried to get to the beginning, and then it decided to be an asshole. We got back around, I fast-forwarded this match, I'm not watching it twice.
Nobody cared. The announcers didn't care.
No, the announcers were visibly talking about other shit, talking about the audience.
Like, every now and then they tried to call the match, but they were like... The only thing that got hung up on was what to call an Indian deathlock, because that's not super politically correct anymore.
No. Especially with, the whole Redskins decision, they can't exactly call it. They made jokes. It's like, it's a native deathlock.
A Native American deathlock.
It's just...
Which is fine, call it that. What
Native American deathlock, I like it. Then...
That's the main event.
Main event. Alright. Now, here's where you're going to see the two nerds split on something. I hate the decision of this match. He does too. That's not the thing we're split on. No. Other than the decision, this was a really good match.
It was solid. It was a 5.
I would say 7. In line with the pay-per-view. Not a 10, certainly not. It's too by the book to be a 10.
And that's my argument. Dude, okay, one spot does not a match make. The rest of this thing... speaking of which, John Cena, Kane, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Alberto Del Rio, Sheamus, and Cesaro, and Bray Wyatt were in the match for the 2 titles.
For the edification of the listener, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah, just in case you're just joining us. Here's a replay of the last 33 minutes of our podcast.
I don't think they're going to get that joke, sir.
And then Triple H comes out for no reason.
And tells a story about how everyone's ruining Seg 1 of the podcast. And then we play the first 32 minutes of the podcast again to show what he's talking about.
Yeah, and then we cut back to Triple H talking about how everyone ruined Seg 1 of the podcast.
And then we cut back to Triple H, who's just staring at the screen, making a smirky face.
What have I done? This is an awful recursive loop. WWE is just like 15 minutes of television that they then replay 9 times. I'm glad they're not that bad anymore.
No, they've cooled down on
It's been a good 4 years since they've been that bad.
It's funny, we kept trying to steer the ship to the main event again and again and again, had to go back and peel back, and then once we're to the main event, we desperately try and careen this bitch off course so we don't have to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it because I wish it didn't exist.
It was they had to do something, dude.
Yeah, they could have done 9 of the things.
That's also true, but they had to do something. They chose to do this.
As I said, a solid 5. Look, okay, this match did have one amazing spot cluster, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
What it was
Alberto Del Rio decided to make a giant A out of the ladders.
Yeah, giant A for Alberto.
This is going to make me win.
So he shoves one of the ladders in between the legs. That is to say, in between 2 rungs of one of the ladders, making a big A-frame with one end of the ladder sticking out really far on the other side. Further. They fight on it. Everyone uses
They being Sheamus and...
Oh, no, pretty much everybody.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, Sheamus and Cesaro were at the top, weren't they?
Yeah, Sheamus and Cesaro were at the top.
And then, like, everyone was like, well, I like this ladder idea, and I'll climb on it like ants.
Yeah, they were like, this is great, let's fight here, this is something new to fight on. And then they cleared the ring, it was just Sheamus and Cesaro at the top again. Roman Reigns comes in, deadlifts the entire structure, and Cesaro and Sheamus up at the top. Or no, Cesaro and, Sheamus, right?
Yeah.
Deadlifts it so that it sits on the little endy bit of the other ladder, making like a teeter-totter sort of...
Yeah, it was cool. And then Cesaro climbed around and started punching Sheamus, and there's back and forth. It was tight.
People climbed on the A-frame, and then John Cena came in and tipped it back to a regular shaped ladder because I guess he hates fun.
Then Kane came in and took the A out
because we know he hates fun.
Yeah. This is not safe. We need to remove this and put Randy Orton on top. Which, you know what? I kind of like the whole running. If you guys play the WWE games, the SmackDown vs. Raw, the WWE 2K series, I'm sure you've played some sort of ladder match. My favorite thing to do in the ladder match is to extend the match because I'm here to play, not necessarily to win. I like winning.
And then watching 9 more loading screens.
Yeah, exactly. I like winning, but come on, let's play for a while. So, there's a couple games ago where the AI was so fucking tight in ladder matches that at the beginning of the match I would grab all the ladders and run all the way to the stage and set the ladders there. Like, look, you fuckers are gonna have to get out here to do anything, and then bring it back.
And they would immediately go and do that.
But, Kane was basically doing that. He was not trying to win. He was trying to get Randy Orton to win. So he would do things like, no ladders in the ring right now. No, you guys get down from there. But then he wouldn't climb it. It was pretty funny. I like that.
He was, basically placing Randy Orton on the ladder and giving him a little lolly and saying, go on, patting him on the butt on his way up. Speaking of, there was like 19 times where someone tried to take out Randy Orton's butt on this pay-per-view. Like, don't do that.
We got a solid quarter-inch of crack, I think. Maybe half-inch.
Yeah, it was not pleasant.
So ladies, if you like Orton crack.
There it is.
Gay men.
Yeah, it's all for you.
Furries who identify as
Where Orton?
Where Orton? Oh my god, I want to be a Where Orton.
Full Moon just turned into Randy Orton snake dancing around.
Yeah. Fight people.
That'd be awesome.
It's right on the fucking neck.
Ow, I'm sorry.
Sorry, listener. Listen, viewer.
Viewer-listener.
Our screen is going crazy because boy dropped the setup.
I was excited about Where Orton. But the match was, he's right. It was entirely paint by numbers. Everyone got the moment where they go for the title and they get stopped by somebody else. Everyone in the match got their moment.
The beginning was the big clusterfuck where people who've been feuding paired off against one another. In the middle, there was a big spot.
It was just,
and that was the A-frame.
It was absolutely paint by numbers, Money in the Bank ladder match.
That spot was cool.
But it was done really well. And that's I think what you're discounting. It's that it was paint by numbers, but it was done well paint by numbers. And it was overshadowed by the much better Money in the Bank ladder match they had earlier the same night.
And I think what you're missing is that benefit of the doubt I'm giving the match is what's getting you to 5. Because I don't think one man in this match, Cesaro.
What? Other
than Cesaro, Bray Wyatt. Cesaro and Bray Wyatt were at par. Maybe a little above par. Everybody else working at about 90-80%.
I don't know, dude. Cesaro, Bray Wyatt will give you those two. Honestly, most of the people who weren't Orton and Reigns, even Berto was trying. I didn't want Berto to win because he's not over.
He was trying. He just never really did anything.
It's because he's got nothing to do.
Well, yeah, he's filler. I love Berto. I love whatever he called himself. I can't remember now.
Mexico's greatest export?
No, back in the day. I know he's Mil Mascaras' son, but
I don't think he meant just by Mil Mascaras Jr. or something.
No, there was something else.
Yeah, whatever he was in Mexico.
Whatever.
He's a talented guy. He's just not over with the American fans. They could not give less of a
Not anymore, no. He hasn't been kicking, Rey Mysterio around and calling him a chihuahua.
It's just, that's the only thing he could do to get over.
Well, I could find another little guy to kick around and call a chihuahua.
It wouldn't make sense if they were Mexican.
That's what he calls little people.
That'd actually be a good gimmick.
What's El Torito up to?
You just have him kick around El Torito.
Should have been they put on a really good match.
If they let them actually put on a match, yeah.
Yeah, if they let El Torito actually wrestle, I bet that'd be really tight.
But, I'd say most of the people who weren't Randy Orton and even Kane was doing his job in that match.
Yeah, Kane was doing his job. Kane was
and
more
you know
what?
what? No. Even Randy Orton. Randy Orton gets extra double bonus trying because that man, at the end of this match, had a Stone Cold style Crimson mask.
You know what? Let me modify. Let me modify what I've decided because you know what? You're right. I'm letting me not wanting Randy Orton to win this match clouding my judgment. Randy Orton probably gave the best performance of the match. Just below that, in terms of both wrestling and spots and character stuff, probably Roman Reigns. He wasn't great,
No, he was
But
overshadowed.
he was doing a lot of stuff. Like, there was a point where he beat up everybody but John Cena.
Because you can't beat up John Cena.
No, because he's God.
But then, he beat up John Cena.
Well, yeah, and then he beat up John Cena.
He beat up John Cena clean.
But he went around the ring, and you could tell it wasn't that he was going around doing awesome stuff and just being awesome. He was hitting marks. And you could, watch it, and he's hitting marks. And he's not excited. He's like, okay, where do I have to be next? Right here. And he did it, and it looked cool, but it wasn't with the usual swagger.
Yeah, that's actually one of his big talents. It's why he's so entertaining to watch in the ring. He's very much WWE style wrestling. In contrast, like Mexican or Japanese wrestling, which are very steady paced matches that increasingly get faster and faster and faster and faster and faster until a big finish, WWE wrestling is very start and stop. You do big stuff, then you stop and do some rest holds. You do big stuff, and then you stop and do some rest holds. And you do big stuff, and then you stop and do some rest holds. That's pretty much how they run. The good thing about Roman Reigns, he's very much that style. He does some big things, and then someone hits him with a chair, and he's dead for about 10 minutes, and then he does some more cool shit. The thing that's his biggest strength in the ring, and why he has the character he has, is because he moves like a fucking lion. It all looks really natural. It looks like he was crafted to do this shit. In this match, he didn't have that. He looked unnatural.
He didn't have time.
No.
Roman Reigns requires time to, strike up the band. He requires time to move like a cat. He just didn't have that.
No,
because he was moving like a guy.
There was too many dudes to hit.
There was too much shit to do and too many ladders in the way.
So he had to dodge and duck around them and kick some shit out of his way.
It looked cool. I'm not. He put on.
It did look cool. It didn't look like Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But Randy Orton really did a great job here, and if I at all wanted him to win, I would say.
Because, motherfucker, if I didn't think that you having the title was just the most boring shit on earth, I would say you earned your win.
Yeah, that was a great performance.
He put on the best performance I've seen from Randy in a long time, and he busted his head open. The top of his head, not quite the crown, but the very top. Right early in the match, and they tried to stop it up.
Fell on him.
They tried to stop it up. They tried to put some chemicals on it to get it to stop for a minute.
And it worked for a minute until it became headbutt season.
Yeah, I think it was Sheamus just slamming his face against the ladder like 28 times.
The people want to see blood smash.
I know it, you know it, we're gonna show it to him. And then he just full crimson mask by the end of the match. He looked amazing. It was really cool. Call me a garbage wrestling fan. I like blood.
No, there's a line between garbage wrestling, CZW shit, and hardcore wrestling.
It's just that was so that
it was satisfying.
Portrays the match to it. Basically, some dude getting crushed open, especially the semi-invincible WWE superstars as they're usually portrayed. Some dude getting crushed open and just bleeding all over everything like that. It elevates the caliber of the match. It sells the match in a way that just acting hurt can't. And the fact that he did that, and he lost a lot of fucking blood. He did that, and he was still going.
Honestly, I think a lot of the issues in this match as well, we were talking to the other Money in the Bank match, the actual Money in the Bank match. We had a lot of guys who were selling really well. We didn't have that in this match.
No, Cesaro sold really well.
That's
Sheamus sold okay. Roman Reigns
Sheamus wasn't on.
No.
He was popular, but he messed up a lot of his shit.
Yeah, and Roman Reigns was selling okay. Orton sold okay.
Well, Orton didn't have to. His head was red.
Yeah, all he had to do was fall down. He's immediately selling good.
He was still selling good.
And then John Cena wasn't selling very well. He doesn't usually, to be honest.
No. Sometimes he'll put out an effort, like he hears me say it, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna prove that guy wrong next week. I'm gonna sell a clothesline."
He sells the shit out of that one clothesline.
And he looks in the camera and winks at me.
And then he's back to being the fucking Kal-El. Speaking of... So everyone gets their moment in the limelight, and in the end it's, Kane and Randy Orton kill Roman Reigns to put Randy Orton so he can win. And Randy Orton's on his way up. Cena slides into the ring. AA's Kane. AA's Randy Orton clambers up the ladder, and grabs the titles. Like, bang, bang, bang. It was so fucking anticlimactic, and...
It wasn't even bang, bang, bang. It was bang, bang. Pause to gloat. Bang.
He did pause to gloat. It was very... It was.
I mean, you could tell when he came out on the ramp, and he unfolded his little towel. He's like, I'm gonna win this match.
Yeah, he was smirky tonight.
He was smug as fuck.
He was a smug sack of shit tonight. It's just... Look, the only person who I would rather not have won, the worst option for me was Birdo, and it's nothing against Birdo. It's that, by the way, I say that so, I've begun saying that so mush-mouth that now it sounds like Birdo.
Yeah.
And I would love to see...
pink dinosaurs who shoot eggs out of their nose-mouth thing, that's freaky. And the whole transsexual vibe, I don't know if that's good for children.
No, Alberto Del Rio, Mexico's greatest export. It's not that he's bad, he's not. It's that he's not over. He's a terrible champion because he's not over.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
That's the only reason I would rather see...
they might as well have been... And also in the match... Shit, what's his name? I can't even remember his name, that's how not over he is. Santino!
And then Santino wins.
What? Santino?
Milan Miracle.
He's just as confused as you are.
But that's the only reason I would have rather seen Randy Orton or John Cena win instead of Alberto, because at least they're over. But I really didn't want Orton or Cena to win this match. Neither of them needed the championship. The championship is wasted on either of them, because all that's going to happen is they're going to hold it for 5 months, do the exact same shit they've done the last 19 times they've held it, which means fight each other.
It doesn't matter if they take it away from him tomorrow night. What you've done here is, first of all, you've wiggled your dick a little closer to Ric Flair's legacy.
How many?
16.
Yeah, he's got one more title, and he's
going to get it.
Yeah, he's going to get it. He'll get to 17.
John Cena's not Ric Flair. He's a wonderful human being, an excellent humanitarian. He's not Ric fucking Flair.
He'll get to 17.
John Cena is a better human being than Ric Flair.
Much better human being than Ric Flair.
Measure of a man, John Cena is a fucking saint, and Ric Flair is a sleazy imp. But
he's not
Ric Flair.
But he will get to 17.
The dude's not even Stone Cold.
Oh, God, no.
The dude's not...
Stone Cold had, maybe, I think, 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But he'll get to 17. That will happen.
You know what? If they'd given it to Trips, if they'd given him the 17 title reigns, fine.
Because that's Flair's heir apparent.
The fucking torch.
That is Flair's heir. But, yeah, no, it's definitely going to be Cena, and he is going to get to 17. This is one step closer. But go ahead.
That's problem A with this. Problem B, if you wanted somebody else to have the title, you should have fucking given it to him tonight.
Because John Cena he's unbeatable. I make the Glass Son of Krypton jokes, I make the Superman jokes, because that's his character. That's who he is. He's the hero. He can't lose in the end.
He's the hero.
No, that's how they book him.
Yeah.
That's how
that's
his gimmick. That is his gimmick. Whether or not it's over as that gimmick is immaterial to this discussion. He can't lose in the end. So this is the time you give, because him not winning in this match is fine. Someone else can take him out. You could have 9 dudes take him out. You can have half the ring, all the heels gang up and beat on John Cena. Whatever the fuck. I don't care. He doesn't have to lose this match to not win it. He just has to not be there when the title gets yanked off. If you wanted someone else to get the titles, if you wanted to crown a new king and give it to Roman Reigns, if you wanted to give it to Cesaro and make him Paul Heyman's next big client, if you wanted to give it to fucking Bray Wyatt and pump the signal, follow the buzzards, then you should have had the Wyatt family win the tag team match. But that is beside the point.
Well, no, that is the point, and that's what I was alluding to earlier. The reason the Wyatts not winning was a bad idea is because Bray Wyatt didn't win this match. In fact, John Cena did. They have done exactly what I said they were going to do.
They haven't buried the Wyatt family.
Cena and his Cena cronies.
They have not buried the Wyatts.
They have not buried the Wyatts.
That's what you said they were going to do.
What have they won since?
Lots of matches. They spent this entire pay-per-view cycle crushing the Usos in clean wins. That's why I was worried they might not win this match, because they spent this entire pay-per-view cycle crushing the Usos in clean, non-cheating wins.
Nobody ever remembers the shows that aren't the pay-per-view. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're not wrong, but you don't get to claim you're right here.
Well, I'm not trying to claim I'm right. I'm trying to claim that they're taking talent who is over. 3 men who are over in their own individual, unique ways. This is not the Ministry, where the only reason people care about Viscera and Midian is because one of them's got a goofy eye and one of them is big and fat. These 3 guys are over in their own right.
I don't know, Rowan.
He's got a sheep mask. He's a very important, crazy, redhead beard sheep mask guy.
Fair.
I mean, they're not as over as Bray. I'm not trying to say that, but these are 3 men who are over. Okay? They're taking Minecraft. They're taking diamonds and just tossing them into lava.
I wouldn't go that far. They're not wasting them. They are heels, after all. But I don't think it's a good decision either.
To what purpose is what I'm asking. Look, they don't need to win everything all the time. But they don't have... Don't speak in tropes, White. It's like when every time some new big bad shows up in the X-Men or Star Trek, they beat the fuck out of Wolverine or Worf, who is supposed to be the best fighter on the team. And it happens so much that eventually people wonder why Wolverine or Worf are really supposed to be the best fighter, because they do nothing but get their asses kicked. And it's not happening yet, but I've seen them do this so many times before. I'm not as worried about Bray. Because he's Bray.
He'll make something out of this.
But, you know, they have heat. The rest of the Wyatt family has heat. And what are they going to do with the Usos? Is it going to be, now the Usos are here, and they're awesome, and the tag team titles are relevant? Or Big Show wants to come back and fart on a snare drum, so we're going to feed him the Usos 10 times?
Probably the second one, to be honest. And the Usos will probably continue to lose matches in singles competition to the Wyatt family, and lose every Monday, Tuesday, and main event to the regular competition.
Whole booking makes no fucking sense. You're absolutely right in that, this is just...
This is by-the-book booking.
And it's shit. It's a shit book.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Look, I've been enjoying WWE. I mean, we started this podcast at a bad time, listener. If you wanted to hear us talk about how great the WWE is, I think we got Extreme Rules out, and we really like that pay-per-view. But they've just pooped since. And every now and then there's a nugget of corn in that poop.
They've gone from being Star Trek The Next Generation, which is an amazing show that I really like, to being Voyager.
Which isn't always awful.
But when it's good, it's very, very good. They're heading towards Deep Space Nine, where
That's pretty divisive. I think they're heading toward Enterprise.
Oh, that's right. There are weirdos who like Deep Space Nine, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a pretty strong following. There are good characters on Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
honestly, going back and watching Voyager again, dude, if it weren't for a couple of characters, that show sucked.
Yeah, you're right.
I love a lot of the actors on that show. And I want to talk about Star Trek so much more than I want to talk about this.
So let's get back to wrestling. We can do another one on Star Trek. This one's about wrestling.
It'd be a weird podcast. I'm not much of a Trek fan, honestly.
Me neither, but
I love it.
All things considered, I don't have any ears.
Well, yeah.
But, alright. Look. Randy Orton winning through Kane fuckery would have been better than John Cena winning.
And Randy Orton winning through Kane fuckery, and I was going to mention that, he earned it through the match, like you said about Rob Van Dam. You know what, if he'd taken it in the end, I would have been pissed still, because it's stupid and boring. But
you earned it.
Okay, you have earned a shot. Let's see what you do Monday.
I even actually said it. I even said it during the match when Randy Orton was getting his butt kicked in, and Roman Reigns grabbed his head to pull him back and pulled away. Roman Reigns had like the red right hand going. It was
his left, but still.
It doesn't. Red left hand isn't a cool saying. Leave me alone.
It would have made the song a little bit different.
My red left hand.
It would have been like the devil's favorite demon. It would have been that thing where you're like the devil's favorite son. It's way better.
It's very clearly a better
red left hand. What the fuck?
Red right hand. What are you doing?
Red right hand. It should be better.
It's just a very clear bad decision that anyone could have called better. But he had that full crimson hand. I really wanted to like curl that bitch up and give him a Superman punch. But anyway, that didn't happen. I was like, you know what, Randy, your blood sacrifice has been accepted. If you win, okay.
You know what? Here's the thing. You got to take every part of this match into account. We had an awesome spot. We had some awesome stuff from Randy Orton and Kane.
Believably by the book.
Yeah,
not
by
great,
the book.
not bad.
And then the match had a finish.
And that finish was not very good.
No,
that finish was fucking awful. I'm not gonna.
No, out of all the wrestlers in that match.
Hell, shit! Out of even all the possible John Cena finishes, that was the worst.
Oh yeah, he just sort of like did a couple of moves.
He just decided
at his leisure.
He just sort of went, "I'm gonna win now. I'm gonna win this match now. I'm done with this match. I'm going to win it because I am John Cena."
Oh, is that time? Is it time?
Oh, we're out of time. We're out of time, folks.
Here's the big thing. Here's the reason this isn't working. Okay, Triple H thinks, or the writers, but I assume Triple H, thinks that people hate the authority way more than they actually do. People love Daniel Bryan, so they hate the authority. Daniel Bryan has Stone Cold heat.
Yeah, he's just over.
So if you oppose Stone Cold,
you are instantly the devil.
It doesn't matter who you are, how right you are. Look, let's look back on it. Before Vince McMahon started being a pointless fucking asshole, Stone Cold was being stupid.
Like, he was ruining things for the company, and he was being aggressive to guests, and he was being an asshole, but everybody loved him.
Yeah, so it didn't matter.
So he was instantly the good guy.
But, so that's the kind of heat Daniel Bryan has. They don't just hate the authority on principle.
They hate the authority because of what the authority has done. They're not Vince. If Triple H is a great heel,
yeah,
he's not Vince McMahon.
They're just not that over. Look, there was a point in the late 90s, early 2000s where certain heels could walk out and immediately get an asshole chant.
Yeah, that was great.
And that's the kind of heat that Triple H seems to think he has. And he doesn't. That whole match.
Stephanie might be able to get it.
Stephanie might. She's been so fucking on fire lately. That whole match, comparatively to the rest of the card, the rest of the big matches we watch, that crowd was quiet. Even, like at the beginning, there was a big, let's go Cena sucks chant, and then like,
yeah, that started
a dozen guys tried it again later in the match, and they got like 3 bars and it farted.
It started out deafening, though.
Well, they were in Massachusetts, so.
But you're right. The crowd was quiet. They weren't into it, and the crowd knew that the other ladder match was better. That's unfortunate because I guarantee a lot of the guys in that other ladder match went out there to upstage the main event, and they did a good fucking job because they straight upstaged the main event.
This should have been the first ladder match for 2 reasons. As I said earlier, 1, a heel wins. You know it's going to be divided. Look, okay, let's say John Cena still won this ladder match. Who's he going to feud with? There's plenty of options there.
Yeah, you could have had.
We got Seth Rollins. We got
Jack
Swagger. We could have something interesting with Dean Ambrose because he did sort of go against Roman Reigns in the match. John Cena, good guy John Cena, Boy Scout John Cena, looked right at Roman Reigns and went, "You know how I said we're cool and we're friends and I helped you out and I'm glad you had my back? That's more important to you than you."
Which, that's fair. That's just how the WWE rolls. That's how they always roll. In the end, dick on the line, the strap's more important.
Here's the thing. John Cena's been taking an active... This is where I start to get pissed off at John.
Yeah,
he's been like, no, I'm cool. I'm helping the little guy out. Don't worry, I don't need another push.
Yeah, he's been making jokes about it for months. The last thing anyone wants to see is me get another push.
Oh, what's that? I can have the titles? Mine. Mine, gimme.
No, I don't. That's a unreasonably huge jump on your part.
Yeah.
You're just being bitter.
I am. I excel at that. Where have you been?
He's just... They haven't pushed any new talent. The only one even partially ready to take the strap is Roman Reigns.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and that's the thing. John Cena has been in this company long enough, and is big enough of a face to have creative control. John Cena could have said, "Me, the title? Why? What purpose does that serve?
And then,
Even if you want to continue the Daniel Bryan storyline, you've got Roman Reigns right here.
No.
He already has a reason to hate the Authority. He's already got a reason to go up against Seth Rollins. Why not give him the strap?"
And the reason, there's a very easy reason that they could have given John, which makes for a very easy decision on John's part. Not the right decision. The right decision is Roman Reigns. Okay? The right decision, even John should know that, is Roman Reigns. But in the end, they want someone they can rely on to deliver in the main event spot. And as much as I love Roman Reigns, I don't know that he's that guy yet. He's given a couple good promos, but can he do it every week? He's amazing in matches, but can he deliver on the reg on his own? He's good, he's not tested, he's not safe. John Cena is safe.
I think that once you, in the wrestling industry, start relying on the safe decisions, is when you start failing as a booker.
You're not wrong.
Because, as Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash. Even if you fuck it up. Look, let's be honest. TNA blows. And it's largely Vince Russo's fault.
Both of those things are true. The wrestlers are good.
But people still watch it.
Which baffles me.
So, WWE, you might take a hit if you make a bad decision for a couple of months, but you can bring it back around. It's not going to be that big a hit. And you know what? Worst case scenario, you take a hard enough hit that NWA TNA becomes a viable threat. And when is the WWE at its best? When they're competing.
But they are a business first. They can't reasonably think that a good business decision is to create a situation where your non-competition could make a legitimate claim to being your competition. And that's a terrible business decision. That's the kind of shit that makes a publicly traded company go down the tubes. But
you risk just as much by being stale.
But if you notice, this shit started when they went public.
I don't have timeline on that. I can't confirm or deny. You might be right.
I mean, I might be wrong, but if memory serves, the PG-ification started just before they became a publicly traded company.
I don't have a problem with PG-ification. It's a cyclical thing.
Well, no, that's part of it. That's part of the safe bet.
Sure.
It's all part of the same thing. They are making themselves a corporation which drives a profit. They are a corporation first and a wrestling company second. When they were privately owned, they could be a wrestling company first.
Yeah, and we're just not seeing. It's just WWE's booking has become deciding who should be in middle management.
Yeah,
with a lot more DDTs.
Which would improve deciding who should be in middle management.
But if we've learned anything from this entire experience, it's that we should trust the WWE app. It knows what's best.
Yeah, because what are they trying to do? They tried to start us on the match just before the main event and show us the main event, and then would have looped around to the next replay and shown us the whole rest of the card, and we could have ended on Big E versus Rusev, which is a match that had us both in stitches by the end. So the WWE Network knows best. Next time it tries to start me on the main event, I'm just going to watch it, because obviously it knows the main event is fucking really disappointing at the end. And I keep vociferating because the rest of the match was really quite good and fun to watch. But
there's nothing wrong with being C.
Yeah, but that end drags it down an entire letter grade. I
Well,
mean, you're right. I would say it was a B match in the end.
And that end drags it down. Well, and it was so fucking by the book. I don't know how many of those matches you've actually seen, but it was paint by fucking numbers. It was connect the fucking dots.
The book exists for a reason.
Yes, you establish a set of expectations so that you can then toy with them.
No, because every Royal Rumble is by the book, and they're still entertaining. There's always the couple joke characters who last a strange long time. There's always that moment where the Big Show or Kane or whoever the fuck comes in and clears the ring, and then 90 dudes gang up to toss them out. There's always, that late stage standoff.
See, but that's where I think you're incorrect, because, especially with the network, this has got to change. And, I mean, we're bleeding pretty heavily over, so I'm going to make this as brief as possible so that we can sign off. Also, the AC's off, and I'm boiling.
Same.
Everybody's seeing every pay-per-view now. Everybody who's smart enough to throw down $10 a month.
Seriously, do it. Even though we're bitching, do it.
I mean, there were some issues with our connection, but it's the interface blows.
It's worth it for Countdown to Legends House alone.
But you know what? They're going to redesign the interface eventually. I mean, if you don't get in on the ground floor, it's why I have a Windows phone. If you don't get in on the ground floor, they're never going to make anything out of this. I digress.
Buy in, because it'll get better.
$10 a month, yeah. Just do it. Everybody's seeing every pay-per-view now. You can't just safely go by the book. Back in the day, how many Royal Rumbles were we going to see?
Maybe 4 in 10 years.
Yeah. Okay, now, every fucking year, we're seeing that same fucking Royal Rumble. You have to shake it up. You have to get rid of some of those tropes we love so that people go, oh, they didn't do that thing. Last Battle Royal they had, Kofi Kingston didn't have a death-defying save.
He always has a death-defying save. I
So
even mentioned it.
Yeah.
Where was Kofi's death-defying save?
You want to go a couple of years without that, so that people are like, man, remember when they used to have jagoffs like Drew Carey come out and wrestle? That'd be awesome. I wish they... And then you freak out because suddenly old fat Kid Rock is there.
And he's in the ring, and Kane comes out and he eliminates himself.
Yeah, that's great. Yay, they did that thing again. People love that. I love that. You have to deviate in order to innovate. And once you have seen what shit sticks and what doesn't, then you go back to the book. Because A, now you can play with it even more because you understand your boundaries. And B, people want to see it again. It's why the Attitude Era was so hot. Because you gave us this awesome until we didn't want it anymore. And then you were like, fine, no more Attitude Era. And we went, but we loved that.
But you weren't buying the shirts? Well, I mean, you already had them all. Bring it back.
That's just booking.
I mean, honestly, this is a series of very charismatic people giving good promos and doing the best they can, and even good storylines that's being booked fucking terribly.
Just
terribly. Just bad.
Safely. And that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's 40 cakes terrible.
You're gonna have to give me something else. I can't sign off on that. I can't beat that. There's no witty repartee. 40 cakes is terrible. There, we're done.
Join us next week when we talk about something nerdy.
Oh, you know what? No, I'm going back to the 40 cakes. 40 cakes are terrible, but you know what would make them better? If nerds talked about them.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!